Hello and welcome to the Superpower D&I team. I'm Peter.
And I'm Rick, and today we're having a discussion about The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3, which was called The Convert.
The Convert, yeah.
The Convent, the Nun.
Which I think was
anyway.
referring to Dr. Pershing, who was
Okay, stop there. Stop.
for the Empire.
Yep, so stop right there. So just for people who don't know, I haven't followed Mandalorian at all, and I probably haven't followed a lot of Star Wars, what do they call it? Extra universe stuff?
Expanded universe.
Expanded universe, that's the one. And so I didn't know these characters in here. So I'm just dropping into here from, like, I haven't watched Mandalorian Season 1 or 2, and I've started Season 3 from Episode 2. So this is my second episode. So I didn't know the characters. I suspected there was some history with them, but we'll get onto that later. So yes, I'll let you continue that one.
So Dr. Pershing was in Season 1 and Season 2, and he was the doctor assigned to do experiments on Grogu. But we suspected that he was actually a fairly decent guy because he didn't want to hurt Baby Yoda.
Okay, so that they followed that.
We don't really know what the experiments were, but it's obviously to do with cloning. So the Empire were trying to clone Grogu by the sounds of it to try and create some sort of force-sensitive type creature that's going to help them.
Yep.
But so now the Empire's disbanded.
Did you know the other character?
She was part of the crew of Moff Gideon's ship. So Moff Gideon has been like the recurring bad guy in seasons 1 and 2. Okay. So the Doctor was on his ship doing the experiments, and so she was part of the crew. So as soon as I saw her, I suspected that she was up to no good. But we'll get into that afterwards.
Yep. All right.
So this episode just finishes right where the last one ended, and we had a question about whether the Mando fell in or was pulled.
Yes, I was going to say that. Yes, they answered that
just
question.
Fell, and they said that it wasn't deep before, but
it was deeper than I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, like the war or whatever must have blown.
They bombed it or something like that. Opened up a fissure.
Yeah.
So he didn't see the. So we're assuming he didn't see the creature. Yeah.
And no, he didn't see it.
And so she saw it. So there's something that could come to play a bit later on. Yep.
And she was sort of asking him, "Oh, did you see anything down there?" And he's like, "Nope." And she's like, "Oh, I'm just wondering." Yeah. So I'm not sure why she's keeping that under her helmet, but she is. Yeah. And then they leave, and they get pursued by. Well, they tie interceptors, not
the interceptors. So I think, they were interceptors, and a lot harder to shoot down than TIE fighters, apparently.
So there's still Empire involvement around. Yeah. So there's still some remnants of the Empire.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind that scene. There was a little bit of, and maybe it's just me because I like spaceships or whatever, but it was kind of exciting, except for. The one thing, so I don't know if this has been explained in seasons 1 or 2, but Mandalorian is just his voice is just so level and straight-laced the whole time. There's no there isn't. No, there's not, and I don't know whether that's a thing that's been explained. But there was a bit where
explained, but it's just him. He's just fairly even killed. Like it's
but even there,
that's the Mandalorian group. I think that's just how they are.
Okay, because there's
got to keep their cool and there. But I thought that was great. Like I thought that was like the opening sequence was fantastic. All of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely agree.
Happened before the credits, but it was like watching. Like this is another thing I've really enjoyed about the Mandalorian. There are parts in it that are as good as stuff that's in the movies. Like it's like watching a movie. But so he gets dropped off to go to his ship. So he jumps out and
his like invincible ship. Yeah.
And I love the shot of him like falling, and you see the TIE interceptors behind him.
Yep.
And Yeah, so he gets to his ship and takes off just in time. So there's a bit of tension. Is a TIE interceptor going to get to him first?
I'm not
Sort of
really
thing,
sure
and he
there was
flies off.
tension because we always
There's a
knew he
bit
was
of
going to
tension.
do it.
Well, we probably did, but yeah. And so we have another. It's not a space battle, but it's a
But it's a
spaceship
dogfight.
battle.
It's a dogfight, it's like
Yeah,
Top Gun, where they're
and
going
there's a
through
little.
the.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of humor with Bo-Katan saying, "Oh, don't worry. I flew through these canyons as a kid, and then scrapes
it's been a while.
bit." Little R5 D4 is not very happy. But yeah, I thought that was really good, and I like the little musical cues when the Mandalorian sort of flies into shot. You get that lot of Mandalorian trumpet.
I'm not familiar with the musical cues, but so you would have, so you were aware of his theme. So they've been developing that sort of stuff. Like to
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was a great.
I thought it was good, and I thought there was some shots on there that reminded me a little bit of the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. There was that kind of shaky cam sort of shot sort of stuff. I thought I enjoyed that part. I actually thought, for me, Mr. Grumpy, who just hates everything at the moment, I was going, all right, I'm enjoying this, and then it just,
and then the credits came up. It's like, oh no, but before that, we the TIE interceptors start bombing.
Yes, they blow up. Yes,
home.
Yep.
And so she goes to chase after these TIE interceptors, and then Mando looks at his little scanner.
They were the TIE. Yeah, she was chasing the bombers.
Yeah, and you just see a screen full of red dots. So
but that's and that's what made brought the question to my head about the voice acting, because I went, they just like, oh, we need to get out of here. And it's like, when you say, get out, like,
he's cool.
Hundreds coming in.
He's faced everything under the sun. This is just another normal day for him.
We better get out.
Another Wednesday. I think he had some sort of emotion in his voice, but
it's just he's pretty. Anyway, that's just
he's pretty even.
That is minor. That is minor nitpicking.
The most emotion you'll hear from him is like in his interaction with Grogu. Like, he's a bit softer when he's talking to Grogu. He's not so.
Yeah, but it's minor. That's kind of minor nitpicking for me.
Yeah,
like,
I think they're all a bit like that. It's a bit like Boba Fett. You know, he was just when he in the cool movies, he was just like, take Captain Solo to the ship or whatever he says.
Yes, but I understand that in that context, because it's just like, the guy's frozen in the thing, though.
But he wasn't.
What if he doesn't survive? He were a lot to me.
But that was pretty even killed too. Like, that wasn't like he was panicking he wasn't going to survive.
Yes, but that was to show that Boba Fett wasn't scared of Darth Vader. He was like questioning Darth Vader.
But that's what I mean. They're not scared. The Mandalorians aren't scared of anyone.
No, we could keep doing this for hours.
But then it cuts to the Mandalorian, and that's like, I didn't realize it hadn't properly started yet.
Yes, and I was surprised when that came up as well.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that was the pre-credits. Yep.
But then, we haven't really had it in the Mandalorian. Most of this episode was focused on another. Yeah, it was like it's focused on another character, and I think. Yeah, for the rest of it, almost towards the end, we go back to the Mandalorian. But for most of the rest of this episode, it's about Dr. Pershing. This is the most screen time. This probably doubles the screen time that he's had in the other two series in this one episode. So, but I did like this reminded me of Andor a bit with like the working and
it did, but I didn't like it as much. Like, you're absolutely right. It did. They went into the intricacies of the Empire and how the New Republic's rebuilding and all that sort of stuff. And I'll get back to another question later on. But you just it's gone now.
I kind of like the fact that they're the idea that they're rehabilitating like format people that worked for the Empire and stuff to work for the Republic, because that hasn't been like something they've explored before.
Yeah. But there's part of me that, and that's where Star Wars loses its magic, because I'm also talking. I'm probably going to contradict myself here because, like, as a kid, I love Star Wars, and it was just like I'm a kid, and what's on screen, and I believe it. And then as adults, I think that was some of criticisms of some of the other stuff because it's like, it hasn't moved with what as adults we want. They're still aiming at kids with stupid Jar Jar Binks and stuff. And so this is moving with the adults. It's like, okay, well, if you want adult sort of content, this is the sort of content. Here's the realities of Empire and Republic and rebuilding and all that sort of stuff. But and you're right. I saw stuff from Andor.
Yeah.
But I was also a little bit bored with this one, and that made me just because I didn't know the character of scientist, whatever his name was. So I didn't. So you explained earlier, I didn't know whether he was good or bad.
Yeah,
I did enjoy watching his TED talk.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought we start off with a TED talk. I thought, and so we're on Coruscant. Is that where Princess Armadillo or whatever her name was from?
No, she was from. No, Coruscant is the big. Coruscant is wherever. That's where the Jedi Temple was and everything.
Oh, okay.
So Armadillo was from somewhere back there. I can't even think of her home planet.
I guess I'm thinking because she was there as a senator, wasn't she?
Yeah. I'm a senator. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, there's a scene there's a scene where like he does his TED talk, then he goes back to it's like a hostel for former Empire people.
It kind of is. He's gone from the glitz and glamour of that,
the Empire,
and everyone and all these people going, "Oh, it must be so wonderful for you to be here and be rehabilitated." And he's kind of awkward around all of that. And then you see him sort of go back to this slum level place.
But he meets this woman who used to be part of the ship that Moff Gideon was on. Yeah. And we sort of see her watching him at the TED talk before.
Yeah.
But when he goes back to the hostel, she's there and she's offering to take him around. And there's a scene in like I don't know what you'd call it, like a courtyard or something with lots of little things happening. They're having little glow-in-the-dark popsicles. And there's a man...
it'd be like going down to, I don't know, for us, down the bay.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Or in New York, was it Coney Island?
Times something Square like that. Or something. Yeah. But there's a man doing some sort of, I don't know if he was doing a trick or something for kids, but that was Dean Cundy, who's the cinematographer. He was the cinematographer of Back to the Future, and now he's working on The Mandalorian. And he had a cameo.
Lloyd?
Huh?
Where's Christopher Lloyd? But where is he? He's supposed to be.
Yeah, he hasn't been in it yet. I don't know. But Dean Cundy had a cameo in Back to the Future 3 as a photographer that took the photo of Doc and Marty at the clock. And so now he's made a little appearance in The Mandalorian, which I thought was good. But yeah, then I knew that she was crooked. I didn't have to think too hard, and I don't even think you would have had to have even seen her before to think that.
And so I guess from my perspective, not knowing who the doctor, so I didn't know if he was an evil doctor and he'd done something to her or her family and she was trying to get revenge on him. So I was, with no background on the characters, I was still 50-50, but kind of leaning towards him because he seemed like a nice guy. Yeah.
But so then she sort of persuades him to start up his experiments again with his genetic stuff. And the only way he can do that is to get some equipment. And so they hatch a plan to go onto an old, what are they called?
Star Destroyer. Yeah.
Old Star Destroyer, that's right.
Yeah.
And I didn't overly enjoy the time with Dr. Pershing either. I just wanted to get back to the Mandalorian. But when
I was actually thinking
it got a bit better when they were on their little adventure to go get the supplies. I thought that was a bit better, but I just wanted to get back to Mando. And then so they get this equipment, and turns out it's a setup for she must be working with the police or something.
I don't think she is. She's working.
Oh, okay.
I think she's working for something bigger. I think she's working for Empire, and
Yeah,
she
I think she's
wanted
still
his.
probably working for Moff Gideon, but I thought she must be undercover for the police or something. But I thought
So,
she was undercover. Maybe she just called him in.
no. I think she's going to be some. Well, my thoughts were she's a part of something bigger. There was a point there
Yeah,
where she
I
sort
think
of
she's still
like
part
put
of
her.
Moff Gideon's crew.
Yeah, so because they needed to, he's evidence that they needed to get rid of, and
But I think she must have dobbed him in or something because all the cops and everything rock up.
No, she did dub him in, but my point is that she set him up to get because she knew what was going to happen to him with the mind wipe because of outside sources telling this guy needs to be eradicated. He needs to be out of our
like an
thing. And I actually felt that
without killing him.
Yeah, there was a point there when he realised he was getting the mind wipe, and I actually felt either both horrified and it's like this guy who's just been set up, and he realises now I'm going to lose everything I know, and I've been set up, and bang, and then she's just turned the brain thing up a bit more.
Puts it up, so he's going to be useless now. So I guess he's not going to play much of a part.
Yeah, so but I think that's what I think. She's like a cleaner. She's cleaning up loose ends for someone to come back. So maybe Moff Gideon might make a return at the end of this. So you remember how last week
you said he is supposed to come back into it. The actor has said he is in this season. But yeah, so after the exciting beginning, I was a bit.
It was a bit like that.
The greatest episode, but
it felt like an episode of Boba Fett.
Yeah, because you've got such focus on another character, and they haven't done that in The Mandalorian before.
Yeah.
I sort of wish that. I mean, I was happy for them to tell that story, but they could have intercut that between what Mando was doing and rather than just have this big stretch of this story. I think should have been going back and forth more.
I think the way they did the story, like Mando and Bo-Katan, whatever her name is, did the jump to hyperspace to the coordinates, and so this story kind of took the stretch that they were in hyperspace for, because when that story finished, they came back out. And from a storytelling view, I understand it. I didn't quite like.
From an entertainment view, it would have been good to be going back and forth.
It got a bit boring.
I think it picked up a bit when they were actually on their little quest to get the equipment, but
I'm coming from a person who didn't know the characters, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I honestly, and he's just been a very minor character. Like he has,
and he was teased right at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
So
was she. She was in it too.
Yeah.
But then we go back to the
back to Mandalorian story.
Back to the Mandalorian story, and we go to the hideout of the armorer, who's like the leader of that sect, the Children of the Watch that the Mando's involved with. So he proves that he's been in the waters of Mandalore by, I don't know how she proved it, by pouring it into some
I'm guessing
vessel or something, but maybe it...
But no, it's the living water. So as soon as she poured it in, it started doing something. So so she's looked at it and gone,
knew it was. I mean, she's up to speed with all that stuff, so she knows. And then she says to Bo-Katan, she says, "You're redeemed," or whatever, to the Mandalorian, and then she says that she is also, but Bo-Katan says, "I don't follow the way." She said, "Did you bathe in the waters?" She says, "Yes." She said, "Have you taken your helmet off since?" And she said, because that's important for their group, not to take the helmet off. She said, "No," and she said, "Well, you are part of it now." But she also said, "You can go
leave
anytime you want."
So I think that was more like, "You're welcome here now." Like, as you are now, you're welcome here. Yeah.
Then you get lots of the Mandalorians like patting her on the shoulder and welcoming her, but you see Paz Vizsla, who was like the big guy.
Yeah,
he's not welcome.
He's still not.
So I think there's going to be some conflict there.
Yeah.
And so we finish.
It's interesting because I didn't know how Bo-Katan was feeling about it. It's really hard to tell whether she was like, "I don't want this," or
I don't know. I think she's happy just to go along the community. For now. Yeah. And she's kind of homeless now too because her home got bombed.
It's gone.
and all the people she was with have nicked off on her, and here she is getting welcomed.
Yeah.
So she might be very mixed, I'd imagine. But yeah, we finish with her staring at the ornament or whatever you'd call it of the
I didn't
mythosaur
know what that
skull.
was. Okay.
Yeah, that's the mythosaur skull, the creature that she saw.
Oh, okay. So so this thing's
well, it's not on there. It's on the front.
All right. So then that tells me then that this creature is going to play a bigger part towards the end of the series. Yeah.
But I think they're setting up a bit of conflict with Paz Vizsla, who's voiced by Jon Favreau, the big Mandalorian guy, and also she's sort of it's going to be something with Bo-Katan and the Mythosaur. I think that she's going to have some sort of destiny with him. So I like bits of this episode, but I found
it wasn't
that
a strong
middle
one.
bit just dragged a bit, and it's not filler because they wanted to tell that story, but it's not like the Mandalorian to be away from the Mandalorian.
I think they have to tell that
so long.
I think they had to tell that story because that's setting up something that's going to come along later.
Yeah, so I think that woman's going to be a bit of a big baddie. So
so that they told it. I was thinking while I was watching it too, like watching TV shows or movies with people with masks. How good is it? Because you can just get anyone. Yeah, you play that character, and we'll just get the actors to voice it over later on.
I did think that too because I thought,
Pedro hasn't probably been there for pretty much the whole first 3 episodes. He's just sitting there on the microphone going,
for sure. And I thought that it's not like they have to pay Pedro anymore to be in it. So why wasn't he in it more this episode? Because they're just probably playing a couple of stunt guys to do it.
Yeah.
Or other performers. But yeah, so hopefully next week it will be more about the Mandalorian, but I guess they're throwing other bits in.
I still think, to me, it feels like setup. So, having not watched seasons 1 and 2, they don't put stuff in there for no reason. So that story that happened in between wouldn't have been just there.
It's almost like finishing off Dr. Pershing's story.
No, I think
he's going to come back in it, and
I think maybe yes, but I agree. But like, it's finishing off his story, maybe, but
not hers.
It's her story.
Yeah.
And who she's working for. So she could be working for Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, I think she's working for Moff Gideon.
Did he die? I don't know.
No, he's been captured. And like earlier in the episode, they sort of said, I heard he got...
Hero
did that. So we don't know what's happened to him yet. But
okay, so...
Maybe he's in prison. Or
maybe she's trying to... This is bust out.
Yeah, maybe. And I did wonder why she took the equipment that the guy thought he needed. So I don't know if she's.
Yes, I did think about that too. So maybe I think so. She's let him pick everything that he needed for the cloning, and I can see her then just taking that back to her bosses, going, "He needed this. This might help," sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
While I think that part went along a bit too long, you could sit there right at the last episode of the season and go, "Oh man, that blown away," because now I understand
why they did that.
How it all
also reminded me a little bit of because he didn't die at the end, but I think he's as good as dead. But it kind of reminded me of The Last of Us, where you spend a whole episode on a character and then they just die at the end. So,
see, and I did think about that one too, because like he's getting his mind wiped, but I'm not sure whether he'll come back and be able to remember bits or just say words that might get other people to recognise something that's going on. So
don't know.
There's a little bit
wait and see. So episode 4 next week. Maybe it will be the Lloyd debut. I don't know.
He might not get there till episode 10.
Last week I was expecting him to pop up. This week I didn't think he was going to pop up at all. I was right.
It was a Boba Fett style episode, though. But
going off on someone else's story.
But I guess that's their way of storytelling now. And there was while I was watching it, there's parts of me still going. because of my hate for everything at the moment, because I'm a grumpy old man, I didn't want to say I hated it, and I didn't. It was different storytelling, but I think I said this in our last week review. It just doesn't feel like Star Wars to me anymore. Even though there's TIE fighters and everything in there,
that felt like that was Star Wars. That first
kind
opening sequence was Star Wars.
It kind of did.
Definitely Star Wars. Thank you for watching the Superpower Daredevil team. If you enjoy our videos, please like them and please subscribe to our channel.
And you can comment down below. We love a comment. And please ring that bell. Ring that bell.